I don't know how people still can't comprehend that like the cancellation stuff only fucking works if you are canceled by your own team, okay? And conservatives do a lot to never cancel their own team. Liberals, on the other hand, love canceling their own team. And that's pretty much it. Like, everybody does it. Conservatives recognize it better and weaponize it better. But because it's always like liberals who are often doing the cancellation, ultimately, right? That's the reason why people think it's just libs doing it. Why not at Bill Burr? Nobody has ever been canceled. It's just whining. That's not true. There are people that have been legitimately cast aside, deplatformed, that sort of thing. You say that. I think I have more experience, quote unquote, being canceled than anyone else. So yeah, I know. You know what I mean? As an online commentator, people still regularly do it. People will act like they don't know my old takes, like the Lady Gaga transphobic joke that I made 10 fucking years ago, when it's literally something I use in my teachable moment about transphobia and how I had transphobic thoughts and how I got through it in my never ending quest to get people to change their attitudes about certain things that they're bigoted on. Like, they do it all the time, and it doesn't matter because everybody knows it already. Like, everybody knows it. I've talked about it. I've grown, you know what I mean? And I think you can too. I use that as an opportunity to educate other people, but they still do it. They do it all the fucking time. You know what I mean? I like how they thought they were sleuths showing that clip when you've showed it on stream yourself. So that's the point, though. It's just like it's bullshit. These are all people try to cancel me for buying a Gucci shirt. You know what I mean? People do it all the time, but it's not a real thing. It's not a real concept. I have only grown. I have only grown since all of those controversies that have happened. You know what I mean? Dalia got fucked. I may be wrong, but I thought he disproved all the grooming underage allegations, but no one cared. Damage was already done. Dude, what? No, he didn't. What? Brother, that's not true. I think you got duped into thinking that that was the case. He did not disprove anything, bro. He just went, got a wife, and, you know, kept his head down. So, what was I saying? Oh, as far as like cancel culture or whatever the fuck goes, like there are great examples of that. I'm gonna finish the Bill Burr clip in a second. I'm gonna actually give it a better take. I'm gonna give it a better spin. I'm gonna look at it again now that we blasted off and we got invited the Normans and stuff into our home. Um, like people will sometimes get deplatformed, okay, and like, and it is a very successful method of like stopping the spread of ideas that are awful, okay, and it's a last it's a last ditch effort. It's like the biggest measure that you can engage in, right? And it's incredibly successful here. Look no further than Andrew Tate, obviously. Friend of the show, Andrew Tate, is a great example of this, as my man was exploding in popularity. He was blasting, and he peaked, and now he's fucking fizzling out. You know what I mean? He's still higher than his starting point when he first skyrocketed into success, but he got deplatformed. And look at him now, right? People don't fucking viciously defend him like they once did. Didn't you debate him right around that date? Yeah, I debated him when he peaked a little bit, and then, boom. Cancel culture is just a vague way of describing whether a person is still marketable. We've had so many fucking times. We've had this conversation so many fucking times. You know what I mean? So many times. About cancel culture and whatever. Everybody does it. Everybody weaponizes it. A lot of people do it in a really disingenuous way. But it's not necessarily it's just not. And I repeat, it's not a one-side thing. Everybody does it. It's not new. I don't know why, like, this iteration of it was more, had more sticking power, I guess. This iteration, calling it cancel culture, had more staying power. And it was made permanent, basically. But ultimately, okay, it's not a real thing. You can get deplatformed, but outside of that, outside of getting completely deplatformed, most of the time you can bounce back, and many do. Okay? Thanks for the raid. Michael from Pennsylvania, a.k.a. Central Committee. Hope you had a good stream. For most of my life, I've been canceling shit that I don't fuck with anymore. Yeah. Why is Biden such a fucking pussy? If the Saudis won't pump more, lol, let's start arming the Houthis. They're a fucking client state. How do they get away with this shit? I mean, while I was showering this morning listening to NPR talk about this, I quite literally had a similar opinion where I was like, why don't they just fucking give weapons to Iran? Just give, or fuck the weapons to Iran thing. Just like, put together the old denuclearization agreement, lift the embargo, and let Iran thrive. You know what I mean? Let fucking Iran thrive, motherfucker. What's going on? Let Venezuela and Iran thrive, okay? Like kings. Let them fly. Give them weapons, give them support, get their fucking oil. If you're that desperate to suck the earth of its delicious juices, then, there's plenty of avenues we can go to that we've shut off effectively from the market. Israel got to love that plant. Yeah, I mean, I'm joking. That's never going to happen. Israel would never allow that to happen. That's pure delusion. Every modern U.S. president has bowed to the Saudi crown. I mean, not bowed, but like, we give them weapons. We allow them to fucking do genocide in Yemen. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot that Saudi Arabia kind of relies on us on too. It's this weird partnership. It's this weird partnership because we're going to talk about OPEC Plus in a second. Fuck. Let me wrap this cancel culture thing up. Okay. Everybody does it. Everyone has shortcomings. Everyone has what I like to call privilege blind spots. Okay. There's an intersectionality of privilege, Most of you don't recognize it. The best thing you can do is work on those privileges and recognize that sometimes you might have a blind spot for things that for issues that certain marginalized communities go through. It's a fundamental part of my commentary and my belief system. Talk about it all the time. Cancel culture ultimately is just the weaponization of those weaknesses, those blind spots, and those imperfections, as though like the individual doing the canceling or whatever doesn't have those. Of course they do, and no one is infallible, no one is perfect, and in a weird way, it is hyper capitalism because we as individuals, as human beings, are supposed to be fucking corporations at this point. The wokeness or woke culture is a commoditization of social justice, and it's the expectation that like individuals are supposed to behave like corporate brands. It's another way to dull political perspectives. Obviously, on the one side, it dulls like reactionary political perspectives, which I'm in favor of, right? But also, it will oftentimes be used against people who speak out against the current hierarchy, like myself. Been canceled more times than all of your fucking favorite content creators. Let's be real, okay? And over idiotic, dumb, nonsensical bullshit. But it doesn't really matter. Why? Because most people still recognize that, hey, if you're quote unquote being canceled for some fucking bullshit, then you're not actually canceled. You can only be canceled by your own side. Okay? You can only be canceled by your own side, but you can only be canceled by your own fans. As long as you still have fans, as long as you're still churning out content, as long as you're still, doing whatever the fuck you were doing that got you to the place you were at, you're not going to really get canceled unless you get canceled by the government, in which case you've done a crime and you're probably going to jail. So that's it. Also, we are a vindictive society and have been programmed to be so because of our prison and justice system. Absolutely. We are incredibly draconian. We are incredibly fucking draconian and awful.
Man, I'm on my way to go smoke.
And that absolutely has an impact on our personal day-to-day business and the way that we conduct ourselves. And it's fucking awful. That's why I always talk about how I lead with empathy, even for those who have wronged others, and that people will literally weaponize that against me. My genuine perspective on life, people will use against me to say, "Listen, you're a fucking coward. You should be like going balls to the wall, going ham on motherfuckers." Okay, I have a really high bar, especially for people I know, but even for people I don't know. A very, very, very high bar to clear for me to completely write someone off. Like, insanely fucking high bar. And the reason for that is because I understand that we are all imperfect vessels. Okay? I also personally talk about how on the left we should try to conduct ourselves in a more open-minded capacity. Okay? Because this kind of like, oh no, I'm going to immediately pull up the receipts and go, this you, or whatever the fuck, that ultimately makes us seem unapproachable. And for the Normans, that makes us look really fucking shitty. Okay? And that's no way to bring up the numbers in your ranks. You always want to be trying to grow your community and trying to get people to join your side. If you think that your battle is just, if you truly believe in what you say, then you want others to also believe in what you're saying, and you want others to fight for you. Okay? You want others to fight alongside you. And that will never be accomplished if you're constantly in the business of screaming at people who would otherwise be your fucking allies? Anyway.